should be live any bit now. Should be coming up. My thumbnail. Where's my thumbnail? Why didn't you change? YouTube, come on. What is up, Max Lopez? You made it in first to the first new setup, the first new live streaming setup of Project 2X. We're going to be doing a little bit of experimenting before we get going here because I'm sure I'm going to get all the comments about new audio because we're streaming with a different mic. What's up, Jeff, Paul, Austin, Joseph, Carlos, Hunter, Sang, Adam? How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing this fine evening? Sorry, I didn't get to live stream at 10 a.m. as I usually do. Live streaming schedules, while during the move and everything, are still finding their groove, their new place. But today, actually, we had the plumber and my landlord working away on both toilets and the kitchen. So while they were doing that, I didn't want to live stream because it's right down the hall, and you guys would have heard all that racket. So nice fluffy mic. Thank you. I'm glad. I hope it sounds good. Sounds better. Good, good. Love your hair. Love the set. Nice haircut. Thank you. Do you know the way? I do. I know the way to Project 2. It sounds much more solid. Awesome, because it wasn't cheap, but it was. I'm glad to hear that it was a worthy investment. Why no better visual? So yeah, in case you're wondering, the live streaming camera I'm using right now is the same camera as the last live streaming camera. There are ways to live stream with my Blackmagic camera. I don't know what those are yet. Right now I'm just focusing on filming with that one. I believe there's a certain type of cable I need to buy in order to live stream from that camera. I haven't figured it out yet, but I know it was possible. So that's what that's why we're sticking with the old-fashioned camera right now. And also, it's a live stream, so like you don't need the whole thing to be 4K at 60. And even if we did figure out how to live stream with that camera, it probably wouldn't look terribly better. There might be more bokeh, but it would probably still be 720p at 30, just because that's what I'm capable of streaming at. I would have to get a bit more creative with how we stream, and that would complicate things. So as for now, we're going to stick with this setup. Everyone's saying that the sound is great, which is good to hear. No pun intended. But yeah, basically I thought since during this live stream, yeah, we have better lighting now because we have fluorescent tubes all over the ceiling instead of before we had two very yellow LED panels to light the whole room. So obviously I had to use my two studio lights to light me during live streams. Right now, in case you were wondering, there are no studio lights. It is just the ceiling lighting. This is what the lights look like, and we had to replace all those bulbs. So that's why I'm glad it looks okay. I'm glad you guys are liking it so far. The wall behind you looks beautiful because of the tea. I know. I was like, we bought this metal tea. We had it made by our very good friend over at Tailosive Food, Nick Evans. But it's in the lobby of the old Tailosive office, which you never really got to see. So we were like, okay, we need to bring it out so that the people watching the tech channel get to actually see it. What was your thought process for the thumbnail? Let me put a red phone and a red knife on a red blanket and take a picture. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't update. I made a new thumbnail with this background. YouTube glitched out and didn't fix it for some reason. But yeah, the thought process was we have a lot of red stuff, so let's take pictures with it. So that was it. You missed the light switch in the back. Come on. Everyone hated the light switch. And now that it's gone, I was like, hey, now there finally won't be an annoying light switch in the back. And now someone's like, I missed the old light switch. You guys are always going to find something. Someone's going to be like, I want a green wall in the new studio. And I'm going to say no. Happy I got to invest in 2X. Worth it 100%. Congratulations. Yes, thank you to all our Patreon supporters and Super Chatters. You guys have made so much of Project 2X possible. All of this has been possible thanks to you guys. How long is the drive from your old place? It depends. You can hit traffic 30 minutes. Sometimes lower if you leave early enough in the morning. 2X was worth the wait. Yeah, I thought it was. A lot of people were very, very gracious and very, very supportive with the 2X change. Everyone was just saying it's amazing. And that was so, so good to hear. It made it all worth it. You guys, I don't think I've ever read so many positive comments before because obviously after 2X dropped, after working on this thing for 2 months, I was very, very curious to hear what you guys thought about it. And everyone was just being so, so nice about it. And I'm not used to getting that many nice comments, especially being a controversial Apple sheep on YouTube. I'm used to just walls and walls of hate. And to get the the most popular critical comment was like, Drew, the color temperature of the video is a little too cool. But other than that, it's fine. It was like, that's it? That's your complaint? And I was like, sweet. I thought everyone was going to be like, Drew, the sound doesn't work right. The soundproofing looks stupid or the walls look stupid. But everyone was just super grateful and stuff. So it was called 2X because it was the new office has twice the square footage of the last one. So we literally doubled in size, which was very exciting. Anyway, if you couldn't have any Apple computer, what would you use to edit? Probably like a Surface Book or a Surface Studio, something like that. Did you spend a lot of money in Project 2X? I'd say not iMac Pro levels of expensive, but what I mentioned in my 2X reveal, I think, was that when it comes to Apple products, will spend as much as I need to for it to be worth it, or for it to be not worth it, but overkill. I'll spend all that money on the iMac Pro because I need it to work and I want to go all in. Same with my iPhone 10, same with my iPad. But when it comes to anything else, and that includes office space like this one, I wanted to make sure that I get the best deals on everything possible, which meant that there were lots of old shelves being stored here. If you watch that time-lapse footage, there was a lot of old yellow, urine yellow shelves, and we painted them over black so that we could hang our old Apple Macs on them. And they look okay. We're not professional painters. I painted this wall myself. I painted the wall right off behind the camera. Painted that all by myself. Painted the podcast room by myself. Hung the soundproofing tiles mostly by myself. I had help here and there when people were free, but most people aren't, working on this constantly. It was kind of hard for people to drive out of their way to come out to Chico to help. But, my friend Nick's working now. My friend Xander works, and Wyatt is not in Chico all the time. So finding the time to get all this to work was very tricky, and it meant not sleeping a lot. But yeah, it took a lot of money, a lot of time, but it was not, I'd say, if we wanted this same setup in a city like Sacramento or LA or New York, we'd easily be paying 6 times the average price. The reason we got a deal on this is you saw in the video, it was just completely hideous. It was a dump. It was just a literal dump. So I'm very happy now that we got this to work out and that we were able to renovate it to a point where it did not look completely horrible. And now, actually, I think it looks amazing. So anyway, please bring your mismatched Apple Watch band back day. Yeah. No, a lot of people noticed that when I did my red and blue Nike band. They were like, what the heck? But yeah, I guess a lot of people like that. I also love your t-shirts. By the way, I've stopped skipping ads on your channel. That's how you know you're a Taylosive fan, is when you comment, I got an ad, because no one does that on anything else. Is Xander ever going to come back to the tech channel? I mean, he's welcome to. I mean, he mostly just is doing his own thing on his channel, and he's happy with that. And basically, if you guys are like, you Xander should do this on the tech channel, I'll ask him, and most of the time he'll just say yeah. Like, we just did a podcast together, so that was really fun. But I'm worried about it sometimes because me and Xander he's here, by the way. Me and Xander he's at the very end of this hallway, so I'm live streaming, but he cannot hear me. It's great. Me and Xander have tech discussions constantly, but they're so deep tech discussions that I even wonder if my modern Taylosive tech fans are going to be able to keep up with the kind of stuff we talk about. And if you listen to the Apple Sheep podcast, you'll understand what I mean by that. Can you talk about the YouTube changes they announced today? Yes. So keep in mind, guys, if you want to change the subject, I read all the Super Chats. So Super Chat's the best way to get my attention. Otherwise, I'm just randomly reading comments. So don't feel like you're being ignored. I just happened to catch some of them. There's 260 people watching. I can't read every single comment. But yeah, YouTube made a change recently to monetization tools, which is now that before, if you wanted to monetize your channel, you needed 2 things. You needed over 1,000 subscribers, and you needed over 10,000 channel views. Now, channel views means all of your videos put together. All of those views added up needed to exceed 10,000 views, and you needed 1,000 subscribers. By the way, before that, there wasn't a rule. Back when I started YouTube, didn't matter how many subs you had, didn't matter how many views you got paid. It went in your Google AdSense account, and you wouldn't get a paycheck until you exceeded $100 in revenue. So I made YouTube videos for 6 years and never got a paycheck because I was making 10 cents a channel. Like the whole channel's month of revenue was 10 cents. So now they've changed that because of the adpocalypse. They changed it so that you needed 1,000 subscribers, you needed 10,000 channel views, but now they've added a new one, and this one actually applies to several of my Tailosive Network channels. Not the tech one, by the way. Tailosive Tech is fine, Tailosive Talks is fine, but basically all the other ones were affected by, now you need 4,000 hours of watch time in a 12-month period. So if in the last 12 months you don't have 4,000 hours of watch time, your monetization tools will be disabled. And what that applies to is Tailosive Movie Reviews, the main channel Tailosive, and Tailosive Gaming. Now, this doesn't surprise me completely just because of all the work we've been doing on 2X and all the work that I've been putting into Tailosive Tech, and obviously Tailosive Tech is priority, so we can't put Tailosive Tech on hold and start working on Saturday Shorts. While that would be fun, at the same time, Tech Channel's what brings in the money. That's what pays the bill. So I have to focus on this, and I'm fine with. I'm perfectly content with that. And yeah, the gaming channel's just kind of an afterthought. It's just when we happen to be playing games, we happen to live stream them. It's that easy. But what it means is we can't do super chat on those channels, on the gaming channel anymore. It means that while Dan, the movie man, is working on his part-time job while also making movie reviews, now he doesn't have any revenue to look forward to on movie reviews because there was no way we were going to get 4,000 hours watch time on movie reviews anyway, just because the videos aren't long enough and there's not enough people watching for us to collect that much. And same with the gaming channel, which just means that it doesn't heavily affect the Tailosive network. It's not like we're going to make significantly less money now. We'll make a little less, but it's not going to hurt anything. But what I don't like about the new policy changes is that this really, really discourages up-and-coming YouTubers, as in people who are just starting out YouTube, people who are trying to get an audience built, are going to feel very, very discouraged if they were starting to see an income. So for instance, on the main channel or the gaming channel, we'd make, the revenue without posting anything. If we just let the videos sit there and people watch them, you were making around 20 to 40 bucks a month, which is barely anything, but it helps pay power bills and Wi-Fi bills and overage fees and stuff like that. It helps. But if that was your main channel, like for us, that's a secondary channel. We don't think much about it. But if that was the only channel you had and you were just starting to make money, if you were just starting to rake in 10 bucks, 15 bucks, and you're like, oh, okay, my YouTube channel is getting some views, it's getting some traction. And then YouTube institutes these new laws that say you can't make money if you don't exceed 4,000 hours. Now your revenue is going to go down to zero again. So right when you were getting your hopes up, right when you were like, oh, I can make money on YouTube, I can see how it grows, to have YouTube kind of slap that down and say, nope, now that doesn't count either. It's just saying that it's not impossible to become a YouTuber. It's just, it feels like YouTube doesn't want you to anymore. It's showing that you really, really have to try in order to become a YouTuber at this point. So for the people watching who have not yet made YouTube their full-time job and want to become full-time YouTubers and are trying to do that, they're doing it on the side, I feel really bad for those people because it's suddenly going to be a lot harder. It means that you're going to have to get into the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 subscriber range until you can actually start raking in money, until you can start collecting that first $100 paycheck. So it's not like, yes, this is the first live stream from the new office. It's not saying that YouTubers can't make money now. Like it wasn't a heavy impact on Tailosive. In fact, I was surprised. I was very surprised, actually, that Tailosive Talks didn't apply. Tailosive Talks actually had enough watch time that it didn't apply to that. We had enough watch time on Tailosive Talks. So I was happy to hear that, but at the same time, it's like, well, we put the main channel on hold. We stopped making comedy sketches. We stopped doing Saturday Shorts in the TCU and stuff because they took a lot of work and we didn't get a lot of money out of it. That's why we stopped doing that. we were never saying we're going to quit. We wanted to go back, but the issue was that we just didn't get anything out of it. And asking all of my friends who are working or going to school to stop doing that and take time out of their schedules to help me with this for free and not get anything out of it was just becoming impractical. And now to find out that we're not going to get anything off of that at all, it's pretty discouraging. It means that we're going to have a lot larger of an audience in order to actually make that become profitable. So yeah, it's sad. I don't agree with it. I don't know why they did it. I feel like the problem YouTube was facing was with Logan Paul, not with tiny channels making a couple bucks and who are just starting out. I don't know why they're getting punished and Logan Paul isn't. They removed him from YouTube Preferred, but I don't think YouTube Preferred should be a thing anyway. I think they should have just... I talk about Logan Paul on Talos of Talks. You can watch it there. How many hours of watch time do you have for 12 months? It was a lot. I could check. I don't have my phone on me right now. It's over there. But it's plenty. It's several. I think we're in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of hours watched on Talos of Tech. So, here's Zach Tech Reviews talking about the subject. It's like a punch in the gut. I have the hours over 4,000, but I don't have the subs. But I'll keep at it and hopefully hit by February 20th. Yeah, that's when this goes into effect. Is February 20th. I'm very, very sorry, Zach. Yeah, like someone like you who's just starting out, that definitely heavily affects. So yeah, the small guys are always the ones who suffer. I don't think they did anything wrong. They're just trying to start out. They're trying to be creative, and I feel like we're getting the small channels are getting punished for something bigger channels are doing. And I wish YouTube would just attack and punish the big channels, like the Logan Paul situation. But anyway, yeah, I'm very sorry for that situation. But I've basically given up on YouTube doing the right thing at this point. They never seem to do anything right. So I don't know why they do that. There are companies devoid of logic. Do you think there will be a red iPhone 10? I really hope so. That's the only kind of iPhone I would consider switching to out of space gray because I love red stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to buy a different iPhone 10. Let's put it that way. I'm fine with the one I have now. If a red one comes out, that's cool. I'd like to look at it, but I probably wouldn't buy it. I've tried moving to Twitch. It's a bit more complicated than you think, and there's not enough people watching over there for the revenue. So saying, if I moved all of my videos to Twitch and I moved all of my fans, this wouldn't happen, but if every single person who watched Tailosive switched to watching me on Twitch, I would still make less money because it's not a platform with as many advertisers as YouTube. So there's not really a switching tactic. Yes, Matthew Gates, thank you for pointing this out. The microphone I got is actually space gray, which was completely unintentional, and I love it. The actual attachment to the H6 microphone, which doesn't actually have a microphone. This is just the recording part of it. It is space gray, and it matches my MacBook and iPad. So the space gray ecosystem continues. That goes from iMac, iPhone, watch. Well, it used to be. Now it's space black. Watch stand, keyboard, mouse, and the mic, and my wallet. Everything's space gray. A lot of people are saying, do a Draw My Life. I want to someday. I just feel like the most interesting parts of my life haven't yet to come. So I'd like to wait until the story gets more interesting. It's already very interesting, I think, just watching the whole Tailosive story. And the T. Yes, the T is space gray. But yeah, I want to let this story keep going, and then I'll do a Draw My Life later. What is a better buy in your opinion? DJI Osmo Mobile 2 or AirPods? Probably AirPods. You're probably going to use that a lot more. The Osmo 2 looks really, really cool, and I'll definitely be buying it when it comes out. But I don't think I'm going to use that as much as I use my AirPods. Those are far more useful. So in order to be monetized on my channel, I need to make longer videos and over 1,000 subs. Also, is the channel review coming or no? I'm sure 2x delayed it a little bit. Yes, we're doing the channel reviews for people on Patreon. That's personal, by the way. I text you my thoughts on your channel. And yeah, the shout-outs coming out as well. Jackson Drake asks, new stream time? Not necessarily. The only reason we're streaming later in the day today was because I mentioned earlier, a lot of people were here earlier working on our bathrooms and our kitchen, which the reason I did not show those in the Project 2X reveal yet was because we're still working on them. There were some plumbing issues. This is a very, very old building that needed a lot of renovation, and they were hammering away working stuff, and it was loud, so I didn't want to try to live stream while they were here. They needed my attention, so I waited till they were done, and then I had some other errands to run. So yeah, this is when I've been free. Wow, we got a nice big super chat from Omar, who's also a recent Patreon subscriber, who says, "Love the new set, buddy. Keep up the good work. I'm upset about the new monetization, but I'm going to work harder now. I can't give up, and hopefully none of the small YouTubers quit." It sucks, though. It really does, and I'm very sorry about that. I need to add you as a moderator because you qualify for that. Where's that button? Come on, YouTube. This app makes less and less sense. It's not letting me. That's annoying. Well, I need to add you as moderator at some point. You sent me your channel URL. Where's my editor? Yeah. So we can do that later. Sorry. But yeah, guys, don't give up. Don't feel like because of these new monetization rules, it's not worth it anymore. If we look at the harsh numbers of it, keep in mind that they're not taking tons of money away from you. It's the initial startup process of becoming a YouTuber that's now very discouraging because you have to work a lot harder. So what I mean is, like, the money for a channel to get 4,000 hours of watch time and fall under all that criteria, I would say Talos of Talks is a good example of a channel that's just under the qualifying line of where YouTube would say you can be monetized now. Like, it makes the 4,000 hours, it makes the 1,000 subs, it makes the 10,000 views. That's making like $100 a month. So it's not a crazy amount. It's not like full-time YouTubers are going to be affected by this. It's just the people coming up. So the people who are just starting to get an audience and are just starting to get followers on YouTube and stuff, you're not being completely cut off. It's just discouraging. So just don't let the lack of monetization discourage you. You can still grow just as well. You can still make videos just as well as you could before. It's just that border you cross into full-time YouTubing is a little bit further away now. It's still there. You just have to work a bit harder to get to that point. YouTube is going to lose money because people are going to resist to start a channel. Yeah, I guess in a way. It definitely sucks, but I don't think they're going to lose too much money. And I think, if anything, not having to pay all of these small channels is saving them money, and they'll probably take all that money that they're not paying to all these tiny channels and give it to larger channels or YouTube preferred, some bullcrap like that. I don't know, but yeah, I think it'll be okay. Don't feel discouraged. I want YouTube to work out. I just wish it had a different manager. Like, I feel like YouTube deserves someone in charge who really can be fair about subjects and can be really generous towards controversial opinions and be logical and understand both sides of the argument. So that's why I'd say someone like, I don't know, I feel like a YouTuber should actually become in charge of YouTube. That way they understand how YouTube works, not some just random elected CEO who is appointed to run YouTube. Like, for instance, one idea me and my friends have discussed, like, Philip DeFranco, I think, would make a great CEO of YouTube. He seems like a super logical guy. He's a guy who tries to understand both points of view and seems very honest with his opinions and does not try to go for clickbait and does not try to go to just get the quick views and trick you just so that you can click. They're very honest about it. Or if they're talking about something controversial, they won't monetize their own video. So, like, DeFranco just seems like someone who's very, very logical and should be in charge of YouTube. And I think if he was in charge, he would make a lot more rational decisions. Yeah. Casey would be the best CEO. He'd be pretty good. I mean, he's kind of focused more on his news site he's doing, but I guess DeFranco's doing the same thing too. I was just saying, whoever is in charge of YouTube should be a YouTuber, so they know what the system's like. Not Logan Paul, no. Do you still edit your thumbnails on your iPad? Sometimes. My editor will often make the thumbnail instead because he wanted to start making them. But some people didn't like the style he was going with, so I started doing them again. Um, yeah, Casey, I would say, is known for being a tad more controversial. Some people agree with him, some people don't. I like him. I would agree with him. If they appointed him as CEO, I'd be much happier than I am now. But he's not my first choice. I'm just saying DeFranco seems like someone who's really, really good at making sense. So I would pick him. Do you think I will have to stay up to Osmo 2? What do you mean? Stay up? I don't understand. I appreciate J Gold the super chat, but you mean save up? I will have to stay up to Osmo. I don't understand what you mean by that. Oh, Nick Ann Sweeney super chat. It says, would you ever do an iPhone 10 versus Pixel 2, not XL, cage match? You wouldn't have to purchase the Pixel. You just talk about it. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of beaten that horse to death in a way. My thoughts on the Pixel 2 haven't changed, which is still that it's a very nice camera. That's good for photography, but not good for videography. I still agree that if the Pixel 2 started at $500, it would be totally acceptable. If they were going for like a budget market, I would be like, sure, this is fine. It has nice things like stereo speakers. The fingerprint reader's nice. The camera's really good. No headphones included, no wireless charging, but hey, it's $500. Like the Nexus 6P. I didn't like that when I first bought it, but then the Pixel came out and I was like, wow, the Nexus 6P is great because it included basically all those things the Pixel would have had at that time, and it was a budget phone. Like Google makes all their money from ad revenue. Why do they have to charge top dollar for tech if that's not their primary source of revenue? If they really wanted to drive Apple insane and Samsung mad, they should make flagship phones that are cheaper than everyone else's. Then they would have a real winner. But instead, this Pixel team. I'm back shortly. Should be working. Wi-Fi still, yeah. We're still setting up Wi-Fi, guys. It should be okay. I think we're back. Working back, we're back. Okay, good. All right, we should be back. Sorry about that. Wi-Fi might be a little finicky. It's new Wi-Fi for us. It's the same package as the last one. We were able to transfer it, but okay, I think we're good now. We're good. Yes, we're all good. Great. Okay, I don't know why, but YouTube keeps signing me out on here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe too many people were commenting in the chat, but that's not usually a problem. So anyway, yeah, Google must have been listening. Exactly. Google was listening to that live stream. That he said too many things about the Pixel. Turn him off, something like that. Anyway, what internet you have there? It's still Xfinity. It's still the 250 down, 30 up. It's the same package. There's no gigabit in Chico, but yeah, I don't know exactly when the stream ended, but I've been watching the chat. So YouTube said I've sent too many messages. Yeah, we don't want to send too much at once, just for the sake of I can't read it. But hopefully we're back now. I must have said too many bad things about the Pixel. Let me compensate. The Pixel 2 is the best smartphone in the world. The iPhone 10 is overpriced. Google Pixel 2 extremely reasonable. There, I think we compensated for it. I do not live in the office, no, but I spend a lot of time here. Your mic looks like a raccoon tail. It literally is called a dead cat cover. I can show you what it looks like underneath, but you saw that in the video. We might, if you didn't have Patreon, would YouTube still be able to be your full-time job? It would. Patreon's very helpful, but it is the second largest income supplier. It is not YouTube. I mean, YouTube, Google AdSense is the highest income supplier. So I make more from YouTube ads than Patreon. If YouTube crashed and burned and we made nothing off of YouTube, Patreon would not be able to cover the business expensive. You live in the office, Dan said so in his stream. Well, Dan has right to say that because Dan's not here very much, and when he is here, I'm usually there. I don't think there's ever a time where Dan's here and I'm not, so he's basically like, oh, Drew lives here. Dan's been to the new office like twice. He doesn't he doesn't like coming out to Chico too often. I can't fire Dan because I would have to hire him in order to fire him. Would you make more money if someone donated from YouTube or if someone donates from Patreon? Technically, I'd make more money off of Patreon, yeah. I have watched the end of the effing world on Netflix, yeah. I didn't like the ending, but I liked most of the show. Are you the boss? Yes. Considering I'm the only paid employee, yes. I mean, my editor gets paid, but I'm the boss. I like the Rando Mac Mini in the back of your display. Yeah, it's just kind of there. We had an old Mac Mini, wasn't doing anything. We were like, well, it was back in the attic where we used to film tech videos, and I was like, well, it doesn't need to be there. So, Omar super chatted once again. Thank you. No comment, but he donated. I'll check to see if he commented after that. I don't see anything. Do you like the Xbox One? No, not really. I reviewed it a ways back, the One S. I'm not a console fan because consoles aren't about hardware. They're just about exclusives. It's about what game you want. PlayStation 4, Xbox, hardware-wise, are practically identical. It's just what exclusives you're looking for. You don't edit your videos? I do. No, it kind of goes back and forth. Nathan will be busy sometimes, and I'll have to edit. Like I think last week was the stressful one, or it may have been 2 weeks ago, because I was trying to get 2X ready, so I was painting. I was painting walls, and I was redoing the lights, the carpet, and stuff like that. And then also Nathan was busy with a different project, so I had to edit the tech videos 4 days straight. And I used to do that all the time, but I wasn't trying to renovate a whole office at the same time. So that was tricky. What's going to be tricky now, actually, we need to have this conversation. Nathan, I don't know if you're watching this, but I'm not really sure how he's going to be able to edit the tech videos, because now with the Blackmagic camera, video files last time when we filmed on the old camera, they were, what were they? They were 2 to 3 gigs a video file I had to upload to him. Now they're easily over 100 gigabytes for a single video. So with that now, it's kind of tricky to send the footage to him. So we might have to work something out where, like, he might start editing vlogs now instead of tech videos, just so he has something. And I might have to go back to editing all the tech videos, just because I don't know how to send all this footage to him. I could compress it. I could put it into Final Cut and compress it. But even that I've experimented with still makes incredibly large files that are way bigger than before. They take a lot longer. Anyway, we got a super chat here, NP. What are your thoughts about BlackPod's painting quality? Thinking about sending my AirPods to get them painted matte black while they're having a $40 discount. Keep up the great work. NP, Nathan by the way, Nathan did not get fired. Nathan would not be fired under any circumstance. It would just be you might be editing not tech videos for a while until we can figure out a way for you to edit them. The goal this year, as I've said in 2018, is to get a full-time secondary employee for Taylosive, so that he could handle all of the editing stuff and I can just focus on creating stuff. So I can just do writing Saturday shorts, then he can film them and edit them, and I can come up with the tech video ideas, and he can do that as well. And but he will edit the tech videos, he will film the tech videos for me, and then I'm just the idea guy. That's the goal we want to get to this year. But no, Nathan did not get fired. He won't be fired. But anyway, I have not been satisfied with my BlackPods. For those who don't know, the paint has just scraped off so bad that we just started peeling it off until it was all back to normal. The right off camera over there. But I took all the black paint off my BlackPods just because it looked so bad. All the paint was scraping off. I believe they emailed me. Maybe it was a joke, because they never got back to me. So it could have been some fan who was just trying to figure out our address, who was just like, "Hi, I'm from BlackPods. Where do we send this?" And I say, "The P.O. Box." And they're like, "Oh, this blackmail plan, BlackPod's blackmail plan isn't going to work." Yeah, I don't think it's worth it anymore. They were cool for a while when I first got them, but now the BlackPods just the paint scrapes off way too easily. And if you want a good pair, you get them from Colorware, but those you have to wait a good 6 weeks for, and pay $350 for them. They're just not worth it anymore. I'm gonna wait till Apple makes a certified pair. Other than that, I'm not buying any more third-party AirPods. Um, would you take a Note 8 for free? Yeah, I would take anything for free. Yeah. No, if someone sent a Note 8 to the PO box, I'd probably let Wyatt try it out because he doesn't have enough money to buy a new phone, but he's still using a Note 5, but he really, really wants a new phone. So, will you be getting the black or white HomePod? I feel the black would fit with your ecosystem, but as a chatter, I have no opinion on the matter. We did a vote a long time ago on Twitter, if you don't remember. I asked people on Twitter, should I get space gray or silver HomePod? And basically it was like 90% space gray, so we're doing that. Okay, my last super chat of the day. Do you think Apple will make a physical TV instead of a streaming device? I don't know if I make sense. That makes sense, Omar. Thank you for your super chat. I don't think so. I know there were talks about it for a while, but I feel like there's no point to at this juncture, just because I don't know. I just feel like if Apple made a display, it would probably be super expensive, and even me probably wouldn't justify paying for it. It would likely be like a $5,000 4K HDR razor thin TV with the Apple TV OS built in, which would be cool, but it would just be way too logical for people to just buy an Apple TV box. And if Apple, exactly, they don't even make monitors. They don't even make regular standalone monitors. The rumor is they're getting back into that this year or next year soon, but for the most part, it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing that. So I'm going to say no, and I'm fine with that. There's super, super cheap companies making really nice TVs now. My Philips 4K TV works just fine, and it looks great. We love watching stuff on it. And if Apple came out with a TV, I'd be like, well, that's cool, but I don't think I need one. What if had the Apple TV gaming thing? Well, if they did what I talked about with the GPU and stuff, and they built their own console into the TV, maybe there'd be something there, but I don't think they'll do that. I used to have a Note 7, but by request of Samsung, I sent it back, yeah. Apple should create a fridge to compete with the Samsung fridge. That'll be okay. Prank call Xander. It's kind of hard to prank call Xander if he has caller ID. Any idea when Apple TV YouTube app will support 4K? Probably never, because YouTube's very stubborn and is like, we're not going to work on the Fire TV. We're not going to provide 4K support on the 4K Apple TV because we're YouTube. I don't think it's worth it. Odd question, but what do you have for breakfast usually? Most of the time, nothing, which is probably a bad thing. I need to eat more. But usually I'm too distracted. iPhone 10 Plus, is that a reality or just wishing for a bigger iPhone 10? No, that'll happen. It's definitely happening. There's no question about it. It's like an open secret at this point. There will be a 5.8-inch iPhone 10 and a 6.5-inch iPhone 10 at the end of this year. No, I don't live in the green attic anymore. It's empty. Is it worth it to upgrade from 8 to 10 cores on iMac Pro? I can't tell. I've never tried the 10-core iMac Pro, and the 8-core one has been working fine for me. No complaints. No complaints at all. It's been editing my 4K at 60 footage very, very fast. Do you plan on color grading the footage from the Blackmagic? Myself and others noticed the 2X reveal video was quite flat color-wise. I'm still getting used to it. I noticed it too. One issue I think I had was the iMac Pro screen might be different than every other screen in some way, because I actually did color correct the Blackmagic footage. That was not what it looks like right off the camera. It actually looked way worse. And I did color correct it in a Final Cut, and I was like, okay, now that looks good. And then I exported it and uploaded it, and because we were pushed for time, I didn't watch the exported video. I just straight uploaded it to YouTube, and then I watched it on my phone, and I went, yeah, this does look weird. The colors do look off. So I'll be experimenting with that, with the color temperatures and stuff and white balance. But yeah, I don't know what the issue with that was, because it looked a lot different in the editing program. It might have something to do with compression. I don't know. Let's see. Would you review an SE2 if it was released in March? If they made it really cool, like I think if they do the glass back and they remove the headphone jack on the iPhone SE2 and they give it maybe a Taptic engine or the water resistance and stuff like that, then I'd probably unbox it and review it. I probably wouldn't use it as my daily driver, but I'd still unbox it and review it just because that's a new iPhone. I'm an Apple sheep. My friend Xander really wants it. If they do what we think they're doing with the concepts, if they go that route, then we'll get it. If they just do a processor bump, though, and a storage bump, then no, we wouldn't do it. Let's see. Can you be the CEO of YouTube? Like, please, like when we have billions of dollars, I'll buy YouTube from Google and let you be CEO. Demonetize the bot. So the bot can't even make money. You probably wouldn't want me to be CEO of YouTube because I'm very openly biased. That's why I recommend someone like DeFranco, who's very reasonable and likes hearing, like every story he talks about on the DeFranco show is followed up with, what's your take on this? We need a CEO of YouTube who's willing to listen to the people. And he seems like someone who would do that. I probably am very, very biased in that regard and just say like things that if this channel didn't agree with me, I would be like, well, that's dumb. We don't need that on YouTube. Basically, I would say, oh, I might get in trouble for this. That's why I won't be CEO. If I was made CEO of YouTube, Logan and Jake Paul would not make money. That's essentially how the Taylosive YouTube would work. If someone like Logan and Jake Paul was on YouTube, I would just demonetize their whole channel. No, I would take the channel down. I would just delete it and be like, we don't want that. So that's why they'll never elect me. I would never be Google Home or HomePod. We'll see. You need to be CEO. I'd say that similar to Taylosive Tech, we'd have a lot of people that really like me and a lot of people that really hate me. We would create a very controversial atmosphere, though to be fair, it would probably be better than what we're dealing with right now. They're gone, be CEO. Okay. I won't join any kind of team. Taylosive is my team, and I'm the sole member, and it's going fine. How many people work with you? Nathan's really the only other member of Taylosive. My other friends are here, and they help out with stuff, but I don't consider anyone really a member unless they edit content, and no one else edits content but Nathan. And I would consider that making part of Taylosive happen, because Taylosive is a YouTube network. We create videos, so my friends are just here to hang out, and I like that they're here. They're very helpful. Like if I need a metal T cut, Nick Evans can cut that. If I need furniture helped build, it's nice to have people around that can help move stuff. So stuff like that is nice to have them around. But in terms of creating content, they don't film things, they don't edit things, they don't live stream. So it's I wouldn't consider them really members, other than just like my friends that are here. And I occasionally, when I'm filming stuff, it'll be useful to have someone else to help film stuff with. So, yeah, I wouldn't say if you're just present, that's not really being a part of Taylosive. It's helping out with stuff, but yeah. If I'm correct, isn't air power a windmill? Yes, finally. You got that joke read by me. It's been a long time. Anyway. Drew, please answer. Why aren't you following anyone on Instagram? Not even Apple. Just curious why. Well, because Apple doesn't post Apple-y things. They just post pictures that were taken on the iPhone 10 that look good, and I don't need to know that. I know iPhone 10 pictures look good. I don't follow people on Instagram because I don't really care about anyone on Instagram. I use my Instagram page just to post pictures that I take that I like. What I use is the Explore page. I like just browsing random pictures that are suggested to you based on what pictures you look at. So I use the Explore tab, but there's no one really I like to follow individually. There's not a user out there that I enjoy enough. And usually if I watch their photos enough, they'll get reposted and put into the Explore page. And I like that the Explore page is 3 pictures wide opposed to just 1 picture at a time. That's boring to me. So I don't really care about anyone. Drew, 2018. I care about you guys. I care about the fans. That's why we did all this. Have you been to One Infinite Loop? No, I haven't. Twitter is better than Instagram. I'm split on that. There's things I like Twitter more for, and there's things I prefer Instagram for. I I like Twitter's optimization across the Apple ecosystem. Like the split view multitasking is great, and they have their own a certified Mac app on the Mac App Store. Twitter made one, which a lot of people don't know about. Um, However, I don't like that they expanded the character limit to 240 characters. I think that overcomplicates things. I miss the old way. I know it was harder to write big paragraphs, but I think Twitter was great at being minimal. And it's dying. You know, Twitter had a rough year. And Instagram's doing really well because it's just pictures, but Instagram's way, way, way worse at optimization. You know, like they don't have an iPad app. They don't support split view. Their logo was like 2 years late with the iOS 7 refresh, and their new logo looks dumb and stuff. Yeah, Twitter is very optimized, but Instagram's not. But I don't know, maybe it's just a cleaner UI. Why don't you have Snapchat? I'm not a fan of digital media that's erased. I prefer, that's why on Instagram I don't do stories either. I prefer when you post something and when you upload a video or a picture that it stays there. That's what I like about digital media, is it's kind of everlasting, and we don't really know how you get rid of it. There's not been a case yet where all of your Instagram pics are just vanished, unless you delete them. And I don't. I like being able to watch history of Tailosive grow in the past, and Snapchat's all about posting something that's gone in 24 hours. And I know there's options that let you save it offline, but I don't like that it's default off. And yeah, I'm not a Snapchat fan. I like Twitter for news. It's nice for that kind of stuff. How much for you to dye your hair space gray? I don't want to dye my hair. $2,000. Should I buy the AirPods because I'm scared of the new ones will come? Yeah, they really could launch at any time now, isn't it? It's early 2018. We're halfway through January. Haven't heard yet. But, there was a news article that was published that the HomePods are starting to ship out. Like, they have a unit of them that... I think they said the release date is 4 to 6 weeks away, but they're close. They said that they're wrapping them up, which goes along with what we theorized, was that it would be around in March, and 6 weeks is about March. Hopefully before that, it might start to be like a... HomePods start shipping late February, and then they'll get delivered early March or something like that. But either way, I'll be getting one. You would wait for AirPods case? If you have a wireless charging phone and Series 3 Apple Watch, then wait for AirPods. If you don't, then it's not worth it. Just get them now. Because the AirPods wireless charging case, I don't believe is... Like, it doesn't work on Qi chargers. It only works on AirPower. So... unless you plan on getting the AirPower that charges the phone, watch, and case, don't get the case. When did you get your logo that you have on the wall? We got that months ago. We had it in the lobby of the old Tailosive office back in Oroville. We've had that for months, but just like I'm sure a lot of you are discovering, that wasn't always... people only watch the tech channel. Most of our audience only watches the tech channel, so they never got to see that. So that's why I was like, we need to move the tee into the tech room so people can appreciate it. It looks great. It's a 3 foot wide, 2.5 foot tall, just great Tailosive tee. It was designed, I designed the tee myself, but the metal and stuff was cut by our good friend Nick Evans over on Tailosive Food, and he does that professionally. He's a welder. And they cut it on a CNC machine. We screwed it to the wall with magnets, so all of the metal pieces are being held there on magnets. Like, I can just pull on it and they'll come right off. And yeah, it's a steel. It's made of steel. It's real metal. Let's see. Hi, I'm from Australia. Hello. Is the HomePod security advantage important to you? Not really. We haven't been talking to our smart speakers that much lately, and if they hear us talking about stuff, they're not going to find anything interesting. It's just us talking about how big this office is and how stupid the Pixel is. So, hey, where can I get the dimensions of the T so I can send one to you? I believe contact me on Twitter, but again, you can just make it yourself. You can just download my profile picture and scope it out. It's not that hard. You hear about the text that freezes Apple phones. Yeah, Everything Apple Pro did a video on that, but I'm like, why do you got to make that well known? You're just encouraging everyone to do it. He's always like, this is just for educational purposes. But you know everyone watching it's going to duplicate it and then start sending it to all their friends. And he knows that. He knew he'd get views for that. But no, I don't know why we need to tell everyone how to do that. That sounds very annoying. I'm going to text all my friends and their phone will freeze. It's like, great. Smart. What do you think is the superior form of coin, pennies or nickels? I never have any coins. Everything should be digital, in my opinion. How's your day been? It's been good. The plumbing went well. Everything's working now, I believe. The kitchen sink and the toilets are working. We've got 2 bathrooms in this place now instead of 1, which is cool. And a much larger dedicated kitchen, which is cool. There's nothing in it yet. We need to move the fridge and the microwave and everything, but it's going well. And we really like this new space. It's much more freeing and opening, that we're not always tucking behind doorways and crawling around desks. And if someone wants to watch a different movie than everyone else, they can go in a different room and watch it on a different TV. It's very nice. They're 2 bathrooms, but they're much smaller. They're a very, very tiny bathroom and a tiny toilet, but there is 2. So, opinions on Bitcoin. So I've been mining Bitcoin for the past couple of weeks on my computer. If you're curious, the iMac Pro can get a hash rate of about 1,000, so a kilo hash. So sometimes when I'm not editing and stuff, I'll just set it to mining Bitcoin, and I've been doing that with Wyatt's gaming PC as well, and my old Mac and stuff like that. And we've mined. I can confidently say I understand why people don't want to invest in Bitcoin. It's an interesting concept, but the reason people don't mine Bitcoin is because the value of it is constantly changing. And most of the time not in a good way. It is always kind of like, well, we mined Bitcoin for like 2 weeks and we had like $25, and then this morning we log in and now it's $16. So it's like, what? We didn't lose any Bitcoin. We didn't spend any Bitcoin. We've been mining just as much, and yet now we have 30% less because Bitcoin crashed to below $10,000 recently. So it's like, no one wants to invest in a currency that's constantly doing this. It's annoying. I don't get why. Some people think that that's the future, or Bitcoin's going to replace everything. And they're like, well, the US dollar can change, but this Bitcoin's not owned by government. It's like, yeah, it's owned by the internet. It's not owned by a bank or a government or anything, but that doesn't make it better, because I think the reason people like the US dollar, and I'm not talking about cash, I just mean like in your bank account or debit card or anything, is that you have $20 that resembles $20. That may fluctuate a little bit over 10 years, but it's not like, oh, I had $20 yesterday, now it's $14. Like, it doesn't change that much, so it's kind of frustrating. I'm just kind of mining Bitcoin because I'm curious. A lot of people are asking about cryptocurrency. So I figured I should know about it. So I've been researching it and trying to figure out how it works. And then, of course, been mining Bitcoin myself. So I think it's silly. And it can apply to all the other cryptocurrencies as well. A lot of people just keep saying they know exactly what to invest in. Like, yeah, Ethereum, I mined Ethereum for a while. I mined Litecoin for a while. Just all these different currencies are like, oh, no, this one's good, this one's good. And then they do nothing. So I like to think that people know where this is going, but I don't think anyone actually does. I think they're just like, no, this will be big, and then it won't, and then something else will, and then the people who invested in that will be like, see, I know. I don't know. DJ Thornton super chatted, said, finally became a Patreon supporter after a long time being subscribed to the channels and not being one. Love the new office and ready for more videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. If you guys pay attention to that Patreon page, and I hate that we always have to talk about this, but I want people to not feel like they're required to donate. Watching the videos is still the primary source of income. You people who aren't donating and just watching, you're still helping just as much. The people who donate extra indirectly are just trying to move along the Tailosive network a little further. We still have that goal on there, which is that if we were able to get $2,000 a month on Patreon, I think we could be able to afford hiring Nathan full time. which would mean he could perhaps even move up to Chico and actually work here, and actually do all of the editing for all the channels, in which case you would get daily content on everything. We still have to experiment with that. When my idea is to save up a bunch of money and just do kind of like a paid internship for a little bit. So when I say intern, a lot of people just think, oh, you're going to make him work for free. That's not what I mean. There are a lot of internships that pay. And this would be one of them, is that like over the course of the summer, maybe when he's not at college, like hiring him full time just for a couple months to see that if I had enough work for him, because I don't even know if I'd have enough stuff for him to do for a full-time job. But yeah, we're just crossing that halfway point for that goal, which used to seem impossible when we first started Patreon. I was like 2,000. That's crazy. But now we've passed halfway. And yeah, for the people talking about Project 3X, I don't think 3X would ever be a project name. First of all, just because everyone would know what it is. And also, I don't think hiring Nathan would ever be a top secret project. I think that's just, it's too obvious. Everyone's guessing it. I want that to happen. So I'd rather you guys just be up to date on it and know that half the money that's being sent to Taylosive would be going towards a dedicated editor, because he's a very, very talented editor and I love his work. And the only reason we're going to have a problem editing tech videos is just because the files are too big. And I want the quality to be better. I don't want us to have to compensate our quality so that Nathan can edit it. I'd rather me start editing and then he can edit something else. That way you guys just get more content overall. I don't know. There'd be something, though. Let me see. Why don't you say people's names when reading their questions? Most of the time because I either don't know how to pronounce it, or if I do, everyone's going to correct me. So it just, what's the point? In other words, you know your question, so when I read it, you know I read yours. I try to on Super Chats, though. Like this. Talon Breen donated, says, do you think it's better to have a taller screen like on the iPhone 10 or have a wider screen like the iPhone 8 Plus? Uh-oh. We got a video output low. Come on, Wi-Fi. Am I too far from the router? I'm just going to keep going and act like there's not a problem. Is anything wrong with your stream? Is the latest content in 4K already? The Project 2X reveal was. I think we're okay. It says video output low. But to answer your question, I kind of want both. I want a phone that is tall like the iPhone 10, but I do want it wider because as I've used the... okay, Oz Likes Tech says it's working for them. Yeah, we probably should stream with Ethernet. As said that, yeah, I can say confidently now after using the iPhone 10 for a while, it's definitely limiting in its width. It's a good form factor and it works for a lot of people. And I totally understand like how people are glad that you can have a small form factor with a dual camera. But yeah, it doesn't act like a Plus model anymore. Like the tabs don't show up in Safari, the keyboard's smaller, and watching videos in landscape definitely feels a tad more limiting than it did on the Plus phones. It felt bigger. Stream Health says it's good now, so yeah. What computer does Nathan use? I believe he has a MacBook, and then for powerhouse editing, like his personal projects, I think he built his own PC. Yes, the Taylosive members use PCs, but keep in mind, I have Windows 10 on my iMac. I use Wyatt's gaming PC quite often because he's not always here. So I use PCs. Nathan uses PCs. He also uses Macs. We're both bilingual in terms of using computers. But yeah, once I've realized now that the iPhone 10 is a lot smaller than a Plus model in different ways. Like it has a larger display. The 10 has a larger display, but it's at the diagonal measurement of the screen is more at a higher angle than the Plus. So that's why a lot of the time using a Plus model iPhone can feel like it's still a larger screen. Even though it's technically not, because it's wider, it feels like there's more like, I don't know, square inches or whatever. So that's why when a 10 Plus comes out, I'll definitely get it. I can get both worlds. I can get the best of both worlds. Novadol donated, says, I really love your videos. A new camera. Congrats. Thank you very much. Thanks to donors like you, it is made possible. So I'm very grateful for that. Do you play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? I have a couple times. It's not that fun to me. I'm not a gamer. Um, do you ever use your Apple Pencil? Yeah, I use them when doing the. I like to use them when doing notes on here when I take content list notes. Let's see. Can you add more of the $50 spots on Patreon? I would like to donate twice. Well, it's getting kind of weird because a lot of people want their shout outs, but a lot of people will donate on Patreon and they say, I'm not a YouTuber, I just want to donate. So, yeah, we'll probably have to add some more slots on Patreon. I didn't realize that people were going to fill all the way that up. But keep in mind, YouTube does take a piece of the donations on the live stream, but it still works. It's you guys. I don't want to discourage people from super chatting. I do get more of the money from Patreon. But still, the donating on a live stream is perfectly reasonable. And you can get your question answered immediately. How much will the iPad with Face ID? Yeah, I don't know, Eddie. I would say probably going to start around 650 to 700 because Face ID is definitely more expensive to produce, and making an iPad that's going to look like an iPhone 10 probably going to be costly. You should do $100 one. You would definitely do that one. But what you still can't, you can still donate 100 on Patreon. Nothing different will happen, but I'm just saying you can. A product red Apple Watch would look dope. I would love that. Do you get jealous of Android users because of their broader compatibility with third-party accessories? Absolutely not. There's never been a time I've been jealous of an Android user. And if it is, it's for very small things. But third-party accessories, no, I can't think of one. I'm very happy that all of the third-party accessories for Apple devices are usually very well made and very well designed. Like, I feel like my Blackmagic camera is designed to work with a Mac, and I love that. The new Blackmagic camera I'm filming with, I can literally format the CFast SD card to be a Mac OS X extended journal, which is just the hard drive, the solid state format for Mac OS, which means that it imports incredibly fast. And I love that I can format it in that way. It just feels like Blackmagic knew their cameras were going to be used by Mac owners, and I love that. Drew, how's the wireless charger from your setup going? Any problems? Just let me know, please. It would mean a lot. Well, thanks for asking, Pixelated. No, I haven't had any wireless charging problems. I've still been using my RAV Power and my Basaurus, whatever, dock stand one that stands up like this on my desk. I really like that one. Yeah, everything's going fine. Thoughts on Apple making their iPhone notches smaller in 2019? That's actually what tomorrow's video is going to be on. I got to film that and edit it tonight. Yeah, that's the report, is that people were so controversial about the notch that Apple's going to try to not... I don't think they'll be able to completely eliminate it, but they'll be able to make it smaller next year. So one theory I saw was that they were going to merge the front-facing camera and the face scanner into one sensor, so they wouldn't need, 5 sensors up there. They would maybe just shrink it down to 4. Or potentially, my idea was embedding the earpiece in between the glass and stainless steel, like the Essential phone did. There's a way you can do it so that it's still very loud and it works as an earpiece, but it would not have to be part of the notch. So I think that's one tactic they could do. One tactic that would be very, very, I think, possible, not this year, but perhaps next year, is the technology for putting pixels on transparent glass is becoming more and more possible. It's very expensive and probably too difficult to do this year. But if you guys have seen TVs that are like transparent, they look like a pane of glass, but then they project pixels on top of them. There's rumored that they're working on ways that perhaps, imagine your iPhone with no notch, right? Okay, so just display edge to edge. There's no cutout at the top. However, when you do Animoji, when you do Face ID, the pixels that are covering the Face ID sensors will turn transparent. Okay, so that place and where the notch would normally be is now covered by the pixels, but then the pixels will turn off, and then the sensors can see through the display unlock the phone and then disappear again. So just when you use face unlock or just when you use Animoji, the displays will disappear just at the top, just where the sensors are, and then when you're done, they'll cover up again. So I think that's more possible in a not too distant future, maybe not 2018, but 2019. I think that's more doable or possible. Can you impersonate more YouTubers? I don't want to make people think I love impersonating YouTubers because I don't want it to come off as disrespectful, and I feel like after my last couple reaction videos, a lot of people really have a hard time understanding me. Like when I talked about Unbox Therapy, I was like, look, I don't hate him. I'm not mad at him. I think he's a great YouTuber. I just disagree with this and this. And then all the comments are just like, oh, Drew's so salty. Oh, you hate him. Why do you disrespect him so much? Oh, you're so it's like they don't understand that I'm not trying to mock them. I'm just providing my feedback on their content. Or Drew made a 28-minute video talking about a 14-minute video. It's like, well, I had to show the video I'm talking about in my video. So obviously it's going to be longer, but like it seems like people are devoid of logic, so I feel like if I did YouTuber impersonations, people would misunderstand it and be like, oh, you're being very disrespectful to other YouTubers. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying this is what you talk like. People can do it to me. I don't care. I don't want to roast everyone. I like all these. I like most tech YouTubers. They're fine. I don't watch all their stuff, but they're good people. Anyway, we've reached our hour, so it's been fun live streaming for the first time in the new set. I'm glad you guys like the new audio, and yeah, I'm hoping that 2018 is going to be a big year for Tailosive. That's how you say it, Drew. You made up the freaking word. You should know how to say it. I'm hoping, like I said, talking about expanding to 2 employees later. Oh, Anthony donated, said, loving the new set. Good to see those new boxes on display. Yes, wonderful. We've got more boxes. You can see me unbox a bunch of new boxes in the next episode of Tailosive Unboxed, which I'll have to edit and post pretty soon. But I appreciate all the people sending them. Can you see it? It's just off camera there. A fan sent in their silver iPhone 10 box, which is right up there in the corner, which is really cool. And yeah, we've got like the product red box. We got a 7 smart battery case box, a Mac Mini box, a original iPad box, all kinds of boxes that I'm very, very appreciative to. So I appreciate all of the super chats and all the donors. I'd love to get to the point where Tailosive has a dedicated editor. That way we can produce content on a daily basis, and I think that'll be a very exciting change to Tailosive. We have the room for it now. Nathan, if he is able to work full-time, will have his own desk where he can edit all the stuff he needs to. So that'll be really, really cool. Anyway, this is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great evening.